Good evening. Today is Friday, June 18, 2021, here in Davao City, Philippines. I am Ace Perez, and welcome to the Talking Heads, where we discuss current and relevant issues straight from news sources. For our first topic for tonight, residents from Barangay Tamugan are complaining against a piggery farm for discharging animal wastes flowing toward Tamugan River. Meanwhile, streaming platform Vivamax is launching another comedy drama movie that will spotlight the issue of skin color discrimination and the true beauty. To shed light on the waste management issue in Davao City and other environmental concerns, we will be joined tonight live by Interfacing Development Interventions Executive Director, Attorney Mark Peñalver. But for the meantime, let's welcome on the show the lead actress of the upcoming comedy drama film Gluta, one of Viva's most celebrated actresses, and the 2019 Cinemalaya Best Supporting Actress, Walaylain, Ella Cruz. Maayong gabi, Ella, and welcome to the show.
Hi! Hello everyone. Maayong
Gabi.
gabi na?
Gabi
Gabi
na.
na ba?
Oh,
Gabi, maayong
Diriya sa
hapon.
Davao. Yes,
Mm-mm.
thank you so much, Ella, for granting this interview. And I know that a lot of your Dabawenyo and Mindanaoan fans are watching us right now. So before we start our conversation, we want to greet them and say hello to all your fans here.
Ayun, maayong gabi sa inyong lahat. Tama ba ba? Naalala ko kasi lagi ako nagtutour dyan. Nakakamiss din pumunta dyan sa Davao,
Mm.
mag-tour. And yan, sana soon makabalik ako dyan and makapunta. Siyempre makasalamuha ko at makasalamuha ko yung mga tao. Davaoenos ulit.
Yes. So ano yung pinaka namimiss mo sa Davao City?
Sa Davao, yung fruit dyan, ja,
Do you mean durian? Yung durian?
durian.
Durian.
Actually, hindi ko siya kinakain, pero naalala ko palagi na sa airport.
Yes, maraming durian dito sa Davao City, and we hope to have you here back no soon pag okay na ang lahat. And of course, we're now here to discuss about your new show, your upcoming film, Gluta. So to start our conversation, Ella, how did you get the role of Gluta sa Viva Max?
I remember when Boss Vic texted me, sabi niya he has a new movie to offer to me. Tapos sabi niya sana daw mag-yes ako. So I
Mm-mm.
waited for like a week and then nag-set sila ng meeting with Direct Daryl Yap. Then Direct Daryl proposed the whole story of the film in just 5 minutes. Tapos yun, bigla ko na lang sinabi na, sabi ko, Direk, hindi na ako magdadalawang isip pa. Hindi ko na rin tatanungin si Mama. I'm gonna say yes to this film because the message of the film is really, really beautiful.
First pa lang na inoffer sa iyo na pa oo ka agad because of
Oh,
how
yeah.
good and how beautiful the project is. Now, I know tapos na kayo sa shooting niya, no? And ano yung favorite scene mo sa movie? You've played a lot of characters, no? And you did a lot of projects. Syempre, I know may mga favorite scenes ka of your movies, of your series. For Gluta specifically, ano yung pinaka-favorite mo na scene in the movie?
I have a few though. Yung isa is yung eksena namin ni Miss Juliana, yung nasa trailer, kung makikita ninyo. Yun, isa yun sa favorite ko. And then, the next one is the ending part. Yung mga Miss University na eksena kasi sobrang nag-enjoy ako doon and they should, watch that part kasi that part is really um, kabado ako nung ginagawa ko yun, which is so weird. Yan, yung part na yan. Kabado ako nung part na yan kasi feeling ko nasa, ano talaga ako, pageant talaga ako.
So parang totoong-totoo yung eksena, like you're...
Oo, kasi ano rin, ang dami rin mga nanonood sila direct, parang nanonood, tas mic talaga, nakamalakas talaga yung mic. So feeling ko, para ako nasa totoong pageant and I have to answer and be
the
really
question.
pretty on the stage.
Mm. Pinangarap mo din ba, Ella, na maging beauty queen in real
Yes!
life?
Nung bata ako, lagi ako sumasali sa mga beauty pageant sa school. Even sa Little Miss Philippines ng Itbulaga, sumali ako
Mm.
kasi pangarap ko maging beauty queen. Pero, yon dito na lang muna sa Gluta ang pagiging beauty queen. Pero ngayon, hindi ko na siya pangarap.
Ayun. So I know that during this pandemic no iba yung shooting ninyo because naka-lock in taping kayo, naka-lock in shooting. So how do you connect with your other mga ka-eksena mo sa film and in every project that you do now, especially sa Gluta? So how do you connect with other cast?
Actually, it's easier kasi alam mo yun, everyday kayo magkakasama na. So, mas madali matapos yung film at the same time, hindi ka agad kakalast or mawawala sa zone or sa character mo. Kasi usually, sa pag-shoot ng film, sometimes umaabot ng 3 months, sometimes 3 years, 2 years, a year.
Yeah.
So, yung lock-in shoot, mas pinadali niya kasi tapos na agad yung work. Tapos mo na agad isipin yung character na yun. And yung continuity ng character, tapos na rin. And syempre, yung bond ng, not just the co-stars, co-actors, pero yung bond with the whole production nandun. Kasi alam mo yun, parang biglang may sepangs agad
Mm-mm.
pagka pack up ninyo na wala na yung shoot. Kasi parang biglang, uy, wala na, hindi na tayo.
Wala na agad.
For 5 days, sobrang close natin. Tapos biglang, wala na ulit.
Ano yung pinaka nami-miss mo about pre-pandemic na shootings, mga tapings pre-pandemic? Ano yung pinaka nami-miss mo doon?
Um, ano ba? Siguro yung hindi hindi ako napaparanoid pag nasa set ako.
Mm-mm.
Kasi ngayon kahit na naka-lock in kami, tapos yung lugar, alam mong safe ka sa mga tao, pero yung lugar na kung sino yung nandun, who was there, di ba? Hindi naman kayo kahit na sabihin mong inano na nila, um, nilinis na nila yung area, every hour nililinis nila yung area, pero yung labas pa nun yun yung nami-miss ko, yung hindi ako napaparanoid, naisipin na baka mamaya umuwi ako sa family kung may positive, ganyan. So, yun yung ayaw ko gusto ko nang mawala kasi napaparanoid talaga ako every time na nag-shoot kami. Kasi kahit na sabihin mong lock-in kami, hindi maiiwasan na meron magkakasakit. Ganun.
Yes, and I think that's valid, Ella, no, because syempre, nag-overthink talaga tayo, napaparanoid because we wanted everyone in
Tsaka
our
ayaw natin
circle.
umuwi to our family nang may sakit, di
Yes,
ba?
yun.
Tayo pa yung magdadala, yun yung pinakayaw ko kasi.
Yun yung pinaka gusto nating hindi mangyari during
Yeah.
these days. Now, we want to commend also no, everyone in the entertainment industry for like finding ways to continue producing content for your viewers even amidst the pandemic. So that's one thing na we want to commend also no, sa lahat ng mga artists and directors and everyone in the industry. Now, Ella, you mentioned that this is your first time na makatrabaho si Direk Darren Yap, and how was it working with the Direk Darren Yap, and ano yung funniest memory mo or think about working with him and other cast?
Yes, it was my first time working with Direct Daryl, and to be honest, nung unang first impression ko sa kanya is I don't like him. Alam niya yun. Lahat
Bakit?
ng interviews
Bakit?
sabi ko, I don't like him kasi feeling ko sobrang salbahe niya, sobrang maldita niya, like, sobrang taklesa niya, gano'n. Like, I think everyone thinks that Derek Darrell is like that. Pero, nung nakilala ko na siya, nung nakapag-shoot na kami, sabi ko, wow, sobrang kabaligtaran siya ng iniisip ko na sobrang bait niya, sobrang kalmado niya in life, pero sobrang totoo niyang tao. And ang dami kong natutunan sa kanya nung nagkaka-work kami, nung nag-shoot kami. And until now, nagme-message siya sa akin na kamusta, naglolokohan, ganon. Lagi niya sinasabi
Mm.
sa akin na I'll see you, I'll see you. I loved working with you. And nakakatuwa na, alam mo yun, makarinig ng ganon from Direct Daryl. Kasi, he's one of the busiest director sa industry ngayon.
Ang dami
Though
niyang
baguhan
dinidirect.
siya, though baguhan
Yes.
siya, pero his works are all unique, 'di ba? Parang
Mm.
iba yung mind ni Direct Daryl, and I love how brave he is to develop this kind of movies and all his other films, 'di ba? So he's a game changer.
How about the other cast? Sino ba yung mga other kasama mo dito for this film, and how was it working with them?
Kasama ko dito si Marco Gallo, Juliana Pariscovia Segovia, si
Yeah.
Rose Van Ginkel, si Miss Arlene Mulak. Working with the Juliana, actually, first time ko siyang maka-work. Pero kilala ko na siya, magkakalala na kami. Surprisingly, na-impressed ako kasi alam mo yun, um, bago siya when it comes to acting, pero parang well-experienced na siya. Tsaka hindi mahirap mag-adjust na maka-eksena siya. Kasi
Mm.
sobrang funny niya, at the same time, sobrang dinadala niya yung emosyon niya talaga sa eksena. And same with Marco Gallo. He listens and he's really passionate about working and earning for him.
Mm.
And with Rose naman and other cast, matagal ko na sila nakakatrabaho. So, sobrang naging chill lang sa set kasi everyone is kind.
Mm. Now, when the trailer, no, and the story about, or parang teaser or trailer ng Gluta was released, there are a lot of different comments, no, mix of comments, negative and positive. So, how do you handle the bashers, no, especially how kung paano sila nag-react towards the film, especially the concept and yung subject ng Gluta?
Um, Expected na mangyayari yun.
Mhm.
Kasi nung in-offer pa lang sa akin yung film, sabi na sa akin ng family ko, ng mga kapatid ko, sabi ko, ate, mababash ka dyan. Ha? Sabi ko, why? Actually, why talaga? Sabi ko, the film was offered to me because they think that I can pull out the role. And I think it was not just direct and the bosses who really offered it to me. It's an opportunity. It's not just for the money. It's an opportunity. It's a role, and I'm here to portray a role kasi I'm a character. I'm an actor, 'di ba? So
Mm.
yung mga actors, they're here to not to show themselves but to show other ibang katauhan, ibang role, 'di ba? So expected na talaga sila na meron at meron mang babash. Pero sa totoo lang hindi ako masyadong naapektuhan, unlike before na lagi akong affected sa mga bashers. Nababasa ko yung mga comments nila, and I respect their opinions. Pero yun, I respect their opinions, I listen to them, and I try to understand them na meron tayong kanya-kanyang paniniwala eh. So, um, for me, um, hindi nyo naman alam yung reason kung bakit ko talaga to ginawa. And that's why I always say this sa lahat ng interviews na I did this not for money, not for anything, but I did this because of the story itself, the movie, the message of the film is to stop bullying and stop being
Mm.
racist and stop the color discrimination and just start loving yourself because we're all equally made by God, diba? So, yun yung yun yung message ng film na I really want to share to everybody na sana ma-realize nila kahit through trailer lang.
Mm. Ella, you mentioned na before medyo mas affected ka on sa mga bashers before. So ano yung changes pala sa on your as an actress and then as an actor and as a person? Why hindi ka na masyadong affected with negative comments and critics and bashing on your projects? Ano yung kaibahan?
I think I've learned din kasi parang siguro growing up na lang din. Siguro nung bata kasi lagi mo iniisip yung iniisip ng iba. Tapos, i-apply mo sa sarili mo na parang sabihin nila, oh, hindi ka naman magaling sumayaw. Tapos, you're gonna put it in your head na parang hindi ka magaling sumayaw. So, every time na sumasayaw ako, iniisip ko na sinasabi na lahat, hindi ako magaling sumayaw. Pero, hindi naman. Marunong naman ako sumayaw. So, yun yung naging effect niya sa akin before. And it makes me depressed, it makes me anxious,
Mm-mm.
ganyan. But now, realizing and reading stuff of mga sinasabi ng mga tao, na-realize ko na they don't even know me. They don't even know how old I am, what's my real name, what's my whole name. They don't know my story. So why would I let that one person or few people bash me, affect my whole life when I know myself, who I am, and my family, who I am talaga. So yun eh. Yung feeling ko, the key na not to ignore the bashers, but to key not to be affected by the bashers is you know yourself and you know na wala kang ginagawang masama. That's for me.
Yes, I think na importante na you know who you really are, your purpose,
Yeah.
at syempre, it also siguro it comes with maturity in dealing with this stuff,
Yes.
mga bashing. And syempre, of course, kailangan natin ding I like what you said na hindi mo ini-ignore. So you mean, it's like saying na you are accepting mga constructive criticisms but ignoring, hindi ka
Yeah.
maapektuhan yung ibang ano, yung mga yung alam
Yeah,
mo
or
na
maybe you can just
yung
think,
purpose really. Yes,
hello? Okay.
go ahead, Ella. Go.
Ayan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe
All
just
right.
think of, alam mo yun, parang minsan isipin mo na lang, or maybe just they're having a bad day. Ganon.
Baka.
Maybe hindi maganda yung gising nila. So yun na lang isipin mo, ikaw na yung mag-a-adjust.
Yun. All right. So going back to the movie Gluta era now. It also parang representation siya for especially people no dealing with insecurities, ano mga flaws. So what do you suggest no, or parang a piece of advice to people or to individuals experiencing or suffering itong mga insecurities, flaws nila sa kanilang physical attributes?
Well, as a human being, ano tayo eh, parang pinanganak tayong merong insecurity talaga and comparing ourselves to others. Ako, I've recently learned to love myself and stop looking kung ano yung ika-insecure ko, but instead focus on what I can excel more or improve more to myself or stop comparing myself to others. Kasi if you keep on comparing yourself to others, you'll you'll just so busy on comparing yourself and you won't improve. Parang ganun. Tama ba? Tama. Magiging busy ka, kaka-compare mo sa sarili mo, and all you're gonna see is your flaws, your negativities, ganyan. Instead of focusing on that flaws and make it an advantage of yours. Just like
Mm-mm.
me, for example, I am a bit short. I'm not that tall. I'm not the tallest. I'm not that medium size, medium height na babae. But I think I'm using it for as an advantage na, yun, alam mo yun, medyo forever baby face. Yun yung lagi nila sinasabi sa akin. So, yun,
Mm.
nagagamit ko yung mga flaws ko. At the same time, nakakalibre ako ng mga pagkain minsan kasi yung height requirement, yung mga ganon. But, yeah, instead of being busy comparing yourself to others, try focusing on what's your advantage on others para dun ka mas mag-excel, mas umangat ka. And just love who you are. Love your flaws, love your insecurities. Don't make it insecurities. Just love them kasi that makes you you, that makes you Ella Cruz, that makes you who you are right now. Ibig sabihin kung hindi ganyan yung itsura mo, hindi ganyan yung flaws mo, hindi ikaw yan, ibang tao yan. And it's okay to have imperfections kasi um, yun yung pagbalanse ng buhay. And yeah, just love who you are kasi you don't need everyone's confirmation or approval of who you are. Just love who you are and just always have a good intentions.
All right. Thank you for that, Ella. Now, we've palagi nating pinag-uusapan itong Gluta, no? Your character. Can you share more about sino si Gluta, ano yung pinanghuhugutan niya, and ano yung perception niya of true beauty.
Well, Gluta is starred by Angel and Aita na meron pangarap maging isang beauty queen. And because of her color, of her appearance, medyo makakaranas siya ng mga discrimination. Katulad nga ng mga na-experience din ng bawat isa sa atin. Pero dito makikita ninyo how strong Angel
Mm.
is as an Aita. Na hindi siya yung weak Aita. She's full of confidence. She loves herself so much. She accepts na she's an Aita, na hindi niya yun ikinahihiya. She accepts na maliit siya, na she has dark skin, and she has curly hair. So, alam mo yun, si Angel yung perfect example of love who you are. So, that's the message of the film, na kahit sino pang magpatalo, magpatao,
Mm.
manapa kay Angel, hindi siya magigiganti. Pero papakita lang na, uy, mali kayo kasi ako, alam ko sarili ko, love ko yung sarili ko, mahal ko yung, love ko yung sarili ko, and I accept who I am.
All right, and then we're excited to know more no about your character sa Gluta. Now, before we enter our interview, Ella, if you are to describe the film Gluta in 3 words, how would you describe it? Ano yung mga words that best describe your film?
Um, um, Empowering, inspirational, and wait lang, full of lessons, 3 words. Um, Anong short term ng full of lesson? Empowering, inspirational, and must watch.
Must watch.
Di ba may dash yung must watch?
Yeah, so considered one word
Dash.
yun siya. Okay, so that's
Oo.
empowering, inspirational, and must watch. So we're
Yeah.
really excited na to know about Gluta and share this with our family and friends. But before that, before letting you go, Ella, would you like to invite your fans and everyone watching us right now to watch Gluta? And can you share also kung paano nila um, how can they watch Gluta?
Sa lahat po ng mga Davaoenyo na nanonood, at syempre po sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon dito sa Sun Star Davao Talking Heads, sana po panoorin niyo po ang Gluta. Streaming na po yan starting July 2 on Vivamax. Vivamax is a streaming platform of Viva. Pwede niyo po yan i-download sa App Store and Play Store or visit their website. And all you have to do to watch all the movies dun sa Vivamax is subscribe for only 149 pesos every month. So once nakasubscribe na po kayo, only watch nyo na po yung Gluta, lahat ng films ko, lahat ng films ni Direk Daryl, lahat ng films na nandun
Yes.
sa Vivamax. So sana po panoorin nyo. July 2, Gluta, directed by Daryl Yap.
All right, we'll definitely watch Gluta. Na, meron ka pa bang other projects or shows na gusto mong i-promote or i-plug for this program?
Wala
Go ahead,
naman.
Ella.
Gluta muna.
Where can they follow you on social media ba?
Yeah, just search Ella Cruz po on Instagram, like my post there on TikTok and Twitter and Facebook.
All right, thank you so much. We're looking forward for your new show, new film, Gluta. That's Ella Cruz.
Thank you,
One,
Ace.
thank you
Thank
so
you,
much,
Sun
Ella, and
Star.
keep safe.
Bye.
That's Ella Cruz, the 2019 Best Supporting Actress, Cinemalaya, and one of the most celebrated actresses in Viva. Now, as promised earlier, we will be joined tonight by our main guest for Talking Heads. He is the executive director of the interventions. He is the executive director of Idis. It's an environmental group here in Davao City. Please welcome Attorney Mark Peñalver. Mayang gabi, Attorney, and welcome to the Talking Heads.
Yes, mayong gabi Ace and mayong gabi sa tanang naminaw o nagtanaw karon sa ato ang Facebook Live. And I would like also to encourage everyone to follow and like our Facebook page, Interfacing Development Interventions for Sustainability. Thank you.
All right. So daghang salamat Sir Mark no for um, um, taking this interview to shed light on a lot of environmental issues here in Davao City. Um, as introduced earlier, in our front page, no, in our main story for today in Sun Star Davao newspaper, residents from Barangay Tamugan are complaining about this against a piggery farm for discharging animal waste flowing toward Tamugan River. No, can you tell us more about the facts, no, and ano ba yung nangyari with this issue?
Yes, Ace, no, thank you so much. First of all, I would just like to thank Sunstar for giving us the opportunity and the airtime, no, to raise awareness to our people with regard to environmental protection and conservation. Yes, with regard to your question, no, this concern regarding the picture in Barangay Tamugan, no, it was forwarded to us actually last January. No, there have been a complaint coming from the community, and we raised that complaint to the Watershed Management Council, wherein the Watershed Management Council instructed the Watershed Multi-Party Monitoring Team not to inspect the concerned piggery, no, the complaint piggery in Barangay Tabugan. So we went there, no, Idis, along with the Watershed Multi-Party Monitoring Team, we went there and inspect the situation in the area, and we found out that there are a lot of lagoons outside, no, the periphery of the farm. No, so we instructed, or the WMMT recommended for these lagoons to be condoned, no, or condemned rather, and closed, no, because whenever the farm discharge wastewater to the lagoons, meron talagang spillover, no, sa lagoons, and those spillovers go directly to the Tamugan River, no, which is within the conservation area. And when we went back there, no, together with the WMMT last April 28, no, we noted that the farm already condemned and closed the lagoons outside their the farm. No, so we noted that, and we thought na okay, they were following the recommendations provided by WMT, and then they promised us, no, that there would be no more incidents of discharging of wastewater, no, sa river and along the canals of the farm. However, last May 12 and May 30, no, another complaint from the community was also raised, no, again was raised in to our organization, to Idis, and they were still complaining about the wastewater discharge. No, now they are discharging the wastewater directly to the community, no, sa mga kanas ng community, and the community are complaining of the foul smell and causing diarrhea, no, among the children in the community, mga rashes, and also headaches and all, no, because of the foul smell and the dirty wastewater coming from the piggery. So yun siya, no, and we expected that because of the inspection last April 28, we were expecting that this piggery will follow, no, the requirements set by the Watershed Management Council for them to continue their operation. However, no, despite the recommendation, despite the follow-up monitoring and recommendations to the piggery, andun pa rin yung problem. No, they're still continue to commit these kind of violations.
So you mean, sir, na this has been going for a long time na dili lang siya for today or dili lang siya for this month, but the problem on the spillover and yung untreated wastewater going to Tamugan River has been going around for quite some time now, and
Yes.
and it's also
Yes. Yes, sir.
Um,
Ace.
Kumusta ang ano, sir? Kumusta ang community? You mentioned about some are having rashes, na sila mga skin problems and headaches, mga health problems. So can you share more about this situation on experienced by the community, so that we will understand the gravity of the issue?
Yung sa community, they were complaining, no, we went there, or two of our staffs, no, went there to interview the community, no, and they raised during the interview na meron talagang mga bata na nagkakadiarrhea and nagkakaroon ng headache, nagsusuka, no, nausea, and all because of the effects of the the wastewater, because wastewater carry microorganisms, no, mga bacteria, they carry viruses and mga fungal, no. So kung meron kang open wound and then na-expose ka dun sa picture, no, yung dirty water, no, sa picture, and then you will be, parang danger yan siya sa'yo. It will be a threat to your health, no, and to your being. So that's a very dangerous incident, no, that took place in Barangay Tamugan. So meron din isang community, isang resident, no, yung anak niya nga raw pinadoktor niya, and then according sa niya to, sa accounts niya, no, pinadoktor niya because of diarrhea and all, no, and when interviewed by the doctor, no, sinabi niya kung ano yung environment ng bata, saan siya exposed, ganun. And sinabi niya because of the discharge nga, patuloy na yung discharge ng water dun sa kanila, yun yung nangyari sa bata. And the doctor said na maybe that might be one of the causes why, no, the child is sick, no. So yun, mapakonect din natin yun siya dun sa wastewater discharge, because we all know that this wastewater carry a lot of microorganisms, and which might be harmful to us, no, to human beings, not only to human beings but as well as to our sources of water, to our environment, and to the wildlife.
All right. Now, sir, after you have done inspection, you mentioned like you did an inspection sa site talaga after receiving the complaints of the residents. No, what actions did you take after that? So ato abang introduce or gipasaka ni siya nga issue to the local government unit and other and concerned agencies?
After we have compiled the complaint and all the attachments there too, no, yung mga signatures, yung mga complaints ng community, we endorsed the letter of complaint to the City Mayor's Office as well as to the Watershed Management Council for appropriate action, no. And I hope this will be given parang a priority, no. This will be a priority for the government to look into, no, because daghan nag-apektado, no. The community is now affected because of this wastewater discharge coming from the piggery. So we already forwarded this concern to the City Mayor's Office and to the Watershed Management Council, and hopefully, no, they will take action on this.
But as of speaking, sir, na ba sila response ang city government and the Watershed Council, or wala pa?
As far as we know, no, with regard to we submitted the letter last Wednesday, no. So I think to give time also to the local government unit, no, they might be thinking of something on how to respond to that, no. And karon wala pa mi response. However, they already acknowledged the receipt of our letter. So I think they are already working on it, no. Hopefully they will come up with a strong effort, no, and action towards the mitigation of the operation of the farm.
All right, thank you, sir. Now, I read in the article that you mentioned that apart from this specific piggery, some piggeries and poultry farms are also committing the same violation. So this means that we're facing a bigger problem now. And just to understand, sir, no, how does this untreated water affect the quality of water, especially sa atong mga rivers there sa Davao City, and sa ato ang kinabuhi gyud as Davaoenos?
Oh no, there are also existing poultries, no, within that also discharge wastewater in our watersheds, no, and not really particularly in Tamugan Panigan, but also within our watershed areas, no. So this is something for the local government unit to also look into, no, kay daghang mga violations with regard to discharges of wastewater. And actually naka-receive na punta og report again, no, from a community in Barangay Carmen, no, na naay mga discharges of wastewater na po, no, coming from a poultry dito, no. And we will be forwarding the same as well, no, to the local government unit for the proper action, for appropriate action, no. And itong untreated wastewater, no, is really a very serious concern, no, because ang Clean Water Act, no, it sets a standard on what kind or how to handle wastewater, no. You cannot just discharge wastewater without any without a discharge permit. Or if you have a discharge permit, you must always parang meet the standards no provided by law with regard to your effluents no na nire-release sa body of water. So there are effluent standards no. These standards or these effluent standards are limits no in terms of the concentration and the volume of any wastewater discharge no coming from a point source, which is like for example itong piggery no, that they should meet no. Unless if they cannot meet this kind of standard, then they are violating the Clean Water Act. So in that effect no, as we can see no from the pictures provided earlier no, meron talagang discharges, and those discharges are untreated, and those are parang kung sa lupa parang prima facie no, in the picture itself no, it shows that there is a violation no. So I think this should be looked into, and strong action or strong stance from the local government unit should be taken, and to protect no the health of the people from the in the community.
Okay. Moving forward, Sir Mark, according sa watershed code of Davao City, no, ang watershed areas protected only included itong Sibulan River, Lipadas. Correct me, sir, if I'm wrong, but according to my readings, Lipadas River, Talomo River, Tamugan River, Kugan Creek, and
Suwawan.
Suwawan River. Suwawan River. Now, there's parang from your end na suggestion to include and declare Panigan Tamugan watershed as part of the protected area. So why there's a need to include Panigan Tamugan watershed?
Actually, sir, Panigan Tamugan is already included in the watershed code, no, as a part of the bigger Davao River. So part siya sa Davao River watershed, no. Davao City has 8 watersheds, no. Meron tayong 8 watersheds, and Panigan Tamugan is a sub-watershed of the Davao River. No, part siya ng Davao River. However, we pushed for the strict regulation and strict conservation of the Panigan Tamugan River, because as we all know, no, the Panigan Tamugan River is the next source no, of drinking water of Davao City. So in order to maintain the quality of water of Panigan Tamugan, strict regulation or strict protection of the area should be in place. No? Like for example, regulated or maybe prohibited acts like trekking no, sa area or any recreational activities in the area no, just to prevent pollution no sa water, and also to regulate yung mga agricultural businesses no within or maybe outside the watershed area but contributes no yung mga activity nila contributes to the degradation of our watershed. I think this should also be included no sa watershed code natin. Like for example, itong ating subject na piggery, no, they are allowed to operate there because the area is an agricultural area no, na pwede sila magtayo doon. No? So we cannot just say na, oy, alis kayo dyan. Pero because by law, they are allowed to put up their establishment there. No? But yun nga, no, yung effects nung ginagawa nila dun sa area or dun sa agricultural area kung saan sila located affects the conservation area below. No, located below, which is the Tabungan River. So they are allowed by law to operate there, but their actions or their activity no affects the conservation area. So I think the watershed code should be more parang lakihan pa yung scope no nung protection. That is why we are calling for the
amendment
and the declaration of Panigan Tamugan as a protected area of the city.
Sir Mark, aside from what you mentioned no, on what needs to be improved sa watershed code sa city, what are other salient points or what are other things na dapat ma-include no para ma-bigger pa ang scope of protection sa atong watershed? So what needs to be improved pa for the watershed code?
Actually, sir, no, our watershed code is a very good ordinance, no, created by the city council. No, it only needs good implementation, no, on the ground. And in fairness to the local government unit, no, meron na tayong ground delineation, no, in place. So meaning yung mga conservation areas and agri-non tillage areas are now delineated no in the ground in order to prevent encroachment no sa mga conservation areas natin. And if there are encroachment, those agribusinesses encroaching within the conservation areas will be phased out, meaning tatanggalin sila doon. So in terms of the local government unit, meron namang action no to delineate the conservation area. However, yun nga yung sabi natin no, the prohibited acts no as mentioned in the watershed code should also include yung mga activities nga no na that may not be within the conservation area but contributes no to the threat and to the degradation of our watershed. Kasi nga yung mga prohibited acts enumerated are prohibited acts to be committed within conservation areas, no? So meaning kung nasa conservation area ka, yes, within conservation areas. But those actions committed outside conservation areas, hindi siya kasali. Pero yung effect nga no nung trabaho nila is mayroong effect dun sa conservation area. So I think the watershed code should be parang expanded pa sa coverage yung ganun. But Idis and along with our partners no, we're currently looking into no the proposed amendment to the watershed code. No? Ano pa yung, it needs study pa rin, no? We cannot just say na this one should be included, amend this one, no? This requires a study as well, no? Yes, this should be backed with data, no? Nga nung kailangan na to siya i-amend, no? Nga nung kailangan i-include din siya. This should be backed with evidence and facts, no? So, before that, along with our partners, along with our Bantay Bukid volunteers, no, we are coming up with proposed amendments to the watershed code. Hopefully, no, maka-come up na taan na to be proposed po sa City Council.
And let us know, sir, no, pag naana mo yung na-come up na itong proposed amendment so that we can also discuss it in another episode. But so much for the watershed and other issues on our rivers. We will jump to another issue, but I think it's still interrelated. This is the no to single-use plastics ordinance. So this has been passed, I think, last year, and we would like to ask updates and kumusta ang inyong assessment as an environmental group to the ordinance in the city. Nag-uswag ba ta? How are we doing as far as no to single-use plastics ordinance is concerned?
Yes, no, I think it's too early pa to really assess the ordinance, no, the implementation of the ordinance. It has been approved last March, and according to our sources, no, sa City Mayor's office, the mayor already signed the ordinance, no. So I think it's too early pa to assess the implementation of the no to single-use plastic ordinance right now. However, we are very hopeful, no, that this ordinance will really help no in the reduction of our waste or plastic generation in the city, and hopefully business sectors and everyone else no should also participate in the implementation, should also be compliant no with the regulations provided under the no to single-use plastic ordinance, because it really takes a community no for us to have a better environment and to have a better implementation of our ordinances, no. So I think all sectors from in our city, in our community, should participate no sa pag-implement aning ato ang ordinansa.
All right, and to discuss and to ask more questions about the no to single-use plastics ordinance in the city, we have here our senior reporter, Ralph Gemit. Good evening, Ralph, and welcome to Talking Heads. Go ahead for your question kay Sir Mark.
Hello. Good evening, Sir Mark. Thank you for guesting sa ating show this evening. You mentioned kaganihan na it was already signed by Mayor Sara. The ordinance was already signed by Mayor Sara. In our previous interview, I think your group lobbied for some amendments yung the ordinance. May we know if are we going to send a letter to Mayor to address this yung concern natin on some provisions of the ordinance, and for the na lang po of the public, what are some provisions of the ordinance that you wish to amend or some provisions na sana idagdag sa napasan ordinance?
Actually, sir, no, thank you for that question. With regard to the implementation of the ordinance and the amendment thereof of the ordinance, as of now, no, it's too early to ask for the amendment of the ordinance. We had discussions before, no, prior to the passage of the single-use plastics, no. We lobbied for the inclusion of the labo bags and yung plastic bottles, no, na ma-include siya doon sa regulated plastics, no, na nalagay doon sa ordinance natin. However, lagi nga we saw the need po, no, to fast track this ordinance, and we also saw, no, the need to also parang limit lang po, no, katong mga plastics na ginakuan nato. So we discussed with the group, with the other with the Sustainable Davao movement, no, na maybe not for the amendment kasi we were informed, no, that there are other policies that are being worked into, no, sa city council, like yung sa plastic bottles and sa labo bags, no. Merong mga existing na mga ano daw parang proposed ordinances on that. And maybe we can work on that, no, sa Sustainable Davao movement. We can work on those policies and to ensure, no, na it will really regulate, no, the use of labo bags and plastic bottles, no, sa future. But as to the no to single-use plastics, ngayon we only parang tinitingnan natin yung implementation pa lang nung sa no to single-use plastics. And I think it's too early, parang ang pangit naman, no, na meron ng ordinance and then we call for the amendment na bago pa lang siya napasa, no? I think let's give this ordinance a chance to be implemented, and then kasi nga during the implementation dito naman natin makikita yung mga loopholes, no, ng isang ordinance or ng isang policy, and by then I think we can come up with specific parang proposals as to the amendment of the ordinance.
So I know you mentioned that it's too early to tell, pero on the part of Idis, have we conducted I don't know, some inspection, some especially sa business sector with regards to the compliance of this ordinance?
As to the inspection to the mga establishments, no, as to the compliance of the ordinance, ngayon pa nga because the ordinance is not yet effective, no, so we cannot expect the establishments to really follow, no, because they are not the ordinance is not yet effective. But there are already parang mga some stores, no, not really parang conducted by Idis, no, na nag-monitor and all, but parang sa ano lang namin, no, during our leisure time, no, yung pumunta sa mga kainan and all, no, nakikita naman natin, notice natin na there are establishments that are already using the alternatives, no, like for example sa straw, they already use yung stainless straw, paper straw, and bamboo straw, no, and dun sa cup, dili na sila gagamit og kanang plastic na throw out, malabay ni mo dayon, no, parang ang uban po kay reusable na ang ilahang ginagamit na mga cups, no. So I think that is a very good parang improvement, no, sa business sector.
So far unsa ba, are we optimistic na I don't know, mas ma-comply jud ning ordinance? Because personally, medyo some people are medyo, I don't know, mixed ang kanilang reaction when it comes to this ordinance. Although it's considered noble, pero kung if we look into the implementation, medyo I don't know. It sounds not viable. Pero on your part po ba, how can we assure, or how could we unsa batong tanawan ni, is it is it going to be implemented?
Yes, it's really a challenge, jud, no, ang kaning ingon ani na policy, no, labi na sa mga small businesses, no, na murag ang plastic is parang pamaligya, no. So I think this is a very parang challenging ordinance to be implemented. Pero I think no if people will understand really no kailangan po diri is information and education campaign no ipa-strengthen jud sa local government unit for the people to really understand why the need to ban or prohibit kaning mga single-use plastics no as we can see, and I think this is a very good situation. Dili man siya bad man siya no, pero I think this is a good opportunity no for Davaoenos to think kay grabe ang baha karon sa Davao City no, and kung makita nato sa ato ang mga after the baha no, makita nato daghang plastic nagkalat no sa dalan, sa kanal, and sa asa pa na siya. I think kung makita na nila, dito nila makuan na, oo, I also contributed no to the waste na nadalaan ng baha, and because of the waste that I contributed, nakapos po siya og baha. No? So I think it really needs or it really takes a paradigm shift no sa atuang tanan na i-change nato ang atuang mindset no na dito sa throwaway culture nato. Let's think about sustainability no sa atong business, sustainability sa atong environment, sustainability sa atong city no, because kung padayon lagi hapunta sa kaning mindset na sa comfort no that plastics bring us no, murag kanang nagdepende ta sa ilaha, murag lisod na jud tag bulag pod sa ilaha no. So I think daghan mga alternatives karon, and these alternatives are not the parang ang kalaban nato no. These alternatives provide us a solution to the problem of parang daghan kaayog generation of plastics, and I think it is the right time no for people to really engage or to choose the alternatives no and break away from plastics. And I suggest po sa local government units to really strengthen the education campaign with regard to the implementation of this ordinance.
Medyo sabotable pa na siya no since it's a new policy. Medyo dili pa nato na siya ma-practice right away na lifestyle. Pero ano ba, are we also considering having this magkaroon ng incentive sa mga establishments nga magpatuman or kanang naa sila programa in line with our no to single use plastic ordinance?
I think that kind of incentives and all should be left to the to the local government unit kung unsa man tong mga schemes ang ilahang pwede ma-provide for the businesses na compliant no sa ato ang ordinance. However, kami sa Idis no, we are currently planning no, in the process of planning, and hopefully ma-implement na siya kaning sustainable business network no nga kung saan we monitor kaning mga business establishments and note no kung unsa tong mga sustainable practices nila, and then we also promote them no. We promote them, we inform the public na if you buy soap no, buy diri sa kanina establishment because they are more sustainable, eco-friendly, and all nga ana no. So hopefully ma-implement na nato kaning sustainable business network no sa diri sa Davao City in order for us to identify nga matingala na lang ta naa day mga stores no, nga mga gagmay na stores nga naga-practice og sustainable business no, nga wala ta na inform or wala ta kabalo because they are small and wala kaayoy naga-tan-aw sa ilaha no, and wala kay naga-promote sa ilaha. So if these small businesses will be given the chance or opportunity to also showcase no kung unsa tong ilahang sustainable practices, I think people with parang mag-adto na po ni sa ilaha to buy no, and that is our contribution to a healthier and a livable Davao City as well.
One last question na lang. You mentioned nga it's up to the local government. Pero sa inyong part ba unsa bay mga possible incentives or mga suggested incentives ang inyong i-suggest sa city government?
Yes. Sa actually naaman po tayo Lunhaw Awards no. This is a yearly event kaning Lunhaw Awards. They can join no. We're looking right now no for kaning mga naay environmentally friendly practices no karon for the Lunhaw Awards this year. And kaning sa Lunhaw Awards, they have the opportunity to win no kaning prizes. Like for example, they will be given 10,000 pesos no sa mga winner, and a plaque or a trophy made by kaning Kublai, no, Mindanaoan artist, and also and other opportunities, no. Kay mao lagi ta matong ginaingon, gina-promote po nato sila sa social media and all, no. So I think this is a good opportunity for everyone, no, for those who have a na ay sustainability practices, no, na mag-come together and promote these practices. So sa Idis po ang atong kay dili man jud mi kung ano, we are a non-government organization, and what we can only do is to help them promote their products, no, and their kuan kung tan-aw na mo maka inline siya pod sa amo ang vision and mission, no, as an environmental organization. Pero kung dili, then sorry kana ana.
All right, thank you, Sir Mark. And I think it's also important to highlight no, what you mentioned that and in every ordinance and law sa mga balaod, implementation really is very important, no, and dira jud ang challenging na part. Now, you mentioned about the alternatives for plastics, no, in moving forward with this ordinance. Now, naabay study, Sir Mark, or parang observation na gihimo or inspection ng gihimo ang Idis, in particular if the alternatives for specifically for the supply, no, ng enough ba ang supply for the alternatives of plastics. And syempre when we tell this individuals, no, especially mga businessmen, to get rid of plastics, we also have to para naatay something to offer na alternative. So with the mentioned ng mga alternatives, enough ba ang supply for this na maging sustainable ang ato ang movement?
Yes. Actually, katong sa mga identified regulated plastics sa atong ordinance, naa na to siya yung mga existing alternatives, no? Siguro wala pa diri sa Davao City ang uban, but naa na siya existing alternatives in other parts, no, sa country, in Luzon and in Visayas. Pero this kind of ordinance also encourages, no, Davaoenos and other Mindanaoans, no, to come up with alternatives, no, para pod natay mahatag na supply, no, sa kaning mga businesses. So I think this is a win-win solution, no. Kung wala pa siya alternative, I think people will really come up with kanang mga alternatives and solution. And basta naalay demand, na-adyo na yung supply po, no? And makita man po nato na siya, no, nga kung taas ang demand, taas man po ng supply, no, sa isa ka product. So eventually na-adyo na siya nga mga supply. And as I mentioned, no, katong mga prohibited or regulated plastics already has naanay mga alternatives available in the market, no. So I don't think maglisod sila pangita. And in fact, kung gusto nila, they can support mga small businesses diri or small businesses diri sa Davao City nga naay mga ingon-ani na mga business do kaning mga alternatives nga ginabuhat.
If I'm not mistaken, attorney, isa po ni sa murag reason nga no, there were some setbacks in the passage of this ordinance kaya ang mga business establishments expressed concern with regards to looking for alternatives kaya murag nahulog nga it's an additional cost on their part.
Actually, during sa mga committee hearings, no, sa proposed or actually sa katong plastic ordinance nato, no, labi na sa katong mga food chains, no, sa ilahang mga packaging, no. Pero karon, if you can see, no, nag-evolve naman pud sila. Naa naman pud sila nakita na mga alternative for kanang butanganan sa ilahang condiments, like sa ilahang sauce, sa ilang ketchup, na naman po yung mga alternative for that, no. So I think ang kulang ng jud is for them to be creative, no, creative and to think for solutions, no. Naaman jud na siya yung solution sa problem if we acknowledge the problem, then naa jud na siya yung solution. And karon naginahinay na sila ka-change sa ilahang mga packaging. So nakita nato nga possible jud, no, possible jud ang no to single-use plastic. So we are very hopeful, no, eventually na ang Davao City will parang siya ang mamuna, no, as a city that promotes no to single-use plastic. Na murag na hinahinay na po dato siya kakita, and I think it really needs the help of everyone, no, for us to achieve that goal.
All right, thank you so much, Sir Mark. No, and I think ang problem lang pud karon, no, with regards to plastics is with the pandemic, our consumption also for other types of plastics nagtaas po siya. But that's another story not to discuss and
Yeah.
another episode po ta. So we'd like to invite you for another episode, pohon pohon. Now, thank you so
Oo.
much, Ralph Yemit, for joining us tonight. And of course, Sir Mark, you had na ba kay gusto na i-promote na inyong mga programs sa Idis and anything na parting message niyo po sa Davaoenos?
Yes. Number one, I would just like to promote the Dunhaw Awards. No, currently, nagadawat pa ta og mga entries and nominations for our Dunhaw Awards. Ang final or ang deadline for entries is on June 25. So lapit-lapit na, next week na, no? And kung kinsa tong nakahibalo or kung kamo mismo naamoy mga environmentally friendly practices like kaning rainwater catchment nato, kaning mga permeable pavements or naamoy forest related na mga initiatives or pollution control initiatives, pwede kayo mo mag-apply sa Dunhaw Awards and win 10,000 pesos. And kanang plaque, no, na gawa ni Kublay. And also second, nami community pantry, no, pantry kanang kahoy, no, available sa mga office and pwede mo maka-avail it's for free, no, free ni siya tanan. Ang kahoy nga ginahatan namo is for free and pati itong vegetables. Ang vegetables is sourced out from the City Agriculture's office. So kung gusto niyo mag-avail, na ang link sa form sa kay gibuhat nato na siyang online because of pandemic, na ang link sa form dito sa among FB page, Interfacing Development Interventions for Sustainability. Makita ninyo ang form dito and just fill it out, no, kung unsa inyong gusto nga mga kahoy na kuhaon, i-avail, o kung sa inyong mga vegetables na gusto po i-avail, no, pwede kaayo mo makuha dito. And na mga instructions dito and kung asa ninyo siya kuhaon, no. Actually among area na sa among office sa Almacen sa Katalunan Pequeño. So kung kinsa tong willing and gusto magkuha, no, og libreng kahoy, lawaan, panaba, guyabano, rambutan, durian, no, naami dito sa Almacen. So pwede na jud kaayo. And for all Davaoenos, no, let's make this city livable, no, and let's live its tagline, no, nga life is here, no, and let's keep our environment healthy. Let's provide more green spaces in our urban areas. Let's fight climate change and let's promote climate justice and aim for climate justice and environmental justice for all. No, because environmental degradation will always affect us all. No matter your race, your status in life, your gender, and whatever, no, it will affect us all. So I think kitang tanan naa jud tay mabuhat para maprotektahan ato ang kinaiyahan labi na ang Davao City. So thank you, and yes, I would like to thank Sun Star for giving us the opportunity and the airtime, no, to raise awareness and also to promote our organization and what we do here in Davao City and in South Central Mindanao. So thank you and good evening.
Thank you, Sir Mark. And for more information about the about interfacing development interventions, so you can check their official Facebook page, no, and other social media platforms. Again, that's Idis Executive Director, Attorney Mark Peñalver. And now to that's all you need to know for the current and relevant stories for the week in Davao community. I am Ace Perez, and this is the Talking Heads. Good evening and have a safe weekend.